Oh, yeah. What up, y'all? It's your boy, the one and only A Switch, aka the 10-time undisputed social distancing champion. Yes. Aka the astute man. The astute kid became a astute man now. Aka Bruce Wayne, but without the money and being black, though. Take that how you want it, I guess. Bringing you yet another episode of Switches Sites, episode 50 of the show. So I have to give a pat to myself for sticking on the consistency, um, as well as just figuring all the dynamics out of the show, which I'm pretty satisfied with, pretty happy with, and looking forward to another 50, 100, 1,000, however long I can go till I can't go anymore. By whatever means that may happen to be. Hopefully, I'm knock on wood, everything. Considering our world climate currently. Oh boy, yeah, it is sucks. Just hearing everything going around in the world. Unemployment is like doubled on top of what was already just crazy in of itself. Man, yeah, it's crazy. It really is. So yeah, if you haven't already, I mean, social distance, not like I do just based on just personality traits, but hey, like don't infect people, all right? Wash your hands. Keep your hands to yourself. Go home. Don't leave. I mean, if you have to, get essentials, but still, be careful. Just be careful, man. Just saying. Either way, try to keep our minds off of just the sadness that is reality, which is still surreal to me that the times we're going through right now, but I digress. Anyway, let's stop the dilly dallying and get into it. Probably first big news out of nowhere, just blindsiding everybody in this, very distracting pandemic. PlayStation was like, you know what? Let's just drop the controller. Let's just show it to everybody. Why not? Which they did. So basically now it's a totally brand new, drastic change. The DualSense is PlayStation 5's new wireless controller. So basically going away from the DualShock family. PlayStation 5 grew up and he's like, you know what? Hey, I want to make a change for myself. I'm not going to be like I'm not going to be like my family anymore. I'm not going to be a DualShock. I'm going to be DualSense. Gotta respect it. But I mean, first off the bat, it looks very atrocious, I have to say. After a little bit more thought and everything, yeah, it looks bad. Looks really bad. I'm just not a fan of, and maybe I'm just starting it off really wrong on the wrong foot, but I do like the design. The overall design looks good from just a physical standpoint, but from a purely design / aesthetic standpoint, it looks just horrible. It's the only way I can explain it. It just has this weird, and I like ranted about this like on Twitter and stuff too. Just this weird this weird like fake faux futuristic look to it that I'm not a fan of. It's like it wants to be in the future, but it's like what everybody thought a next gen controller in the future would look like, but fake. So like pretty much those the fake mock up models of that people make for like, the PS7, and they look so just straight, just futuristically unrealistic that, and that they just don't look feasible at all, which at least in this case it does. I mean, probably after having it in your hands, getting used to it, acclimated to using it on a day-to-day basis, then it'll probably warm up to you. But I think just the design in general, like, and you see a lot of these mock-ups now, at least I was seeing on Twitter, people actually correcting what everybody wants it to look like. It looks way more, I guess, realistic, I guess. It's hard to really describe it, but I don't know. It's just hard for me to fathom and accept this design as a design I'm akin to or appreciate, I guess. So yeah, all black, any other color scheme. I just feel like you have the white, then you have the black, and then you have the blue accents on the sides of the touchpad. It just doesn't like blend well. Maybe if it was like schemed differently, it might be more, I guess, easy to look at on the eyes. But just initially, I don't know, man. It doesn't look aesthetically pleasing. At least, I don't know. It's just too much conflict between colors. You have black, white, and blue all trying to come together, which I don't think it really does. But I don't know, man. Maybe it'll take some time. I really hoping, praying there's going to be some more different color schemes. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna still get it though. don't get it twisted. I'm gonna still get it though. I'm talking all this mess. But I'm gonna still get it though. This is an atrocious controller. I'm gonna still get it though. Just don't get it messed up. Don't get it messed up. All in all though, I mean, like it's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, it's close, but it's doable. I mean, are you gonna look at the controller all the time? No, but still, you want something that looks good, like something that looks like, man, I want to touch it. Like a girl. It's like, man, I want to touch her, but obviously you're not gonna touch her because you know what I mean. I'm just not sure why we went that route, but you know what? Okay, we did. All right, we'll veer away from it. But I'm just saying, women and controllers. No, they're not really that. I mean, you can play them right. All right, I'm sorry. I apologize for that. That's not of my character. Yeah. Overall, I'm pretty satisfied, at least with the design. In terms of the physical design, it looks very similar to the DualShock 4, but you can tell they definitely took some inspiration from Microsoft with the form factor. It looks way more just bulkier and like weightier, I guess. At least I get the appeal. But I mean, it could be more to it. The one cool factor too that's new to it is that apparently it has a dedicated microphone on the controller itself. So technically you could speak to it without having a headset now. But boy, if Call of Duty's any indication with people that do have headsets, just people that will have this option, I don't think it's gonna be just irritating. You have people blasting hip hop and rap just without any consideration at all. I mean, don't get me wrong, blast some hip hop rap is fine, but just without any consideration that your mic is on, it's just ugh. And this is just gonna amplify that like 20 times. To Sony's credit, they said like, hey, yeah, it's a pretty decent option, but don't use it all the time. Or if you're gonna use it for extended period of time, you should probably use a dedicated headset. Which, even though it's not shown on the pictures that they've revealed so far, it is on the bottom of the controller. There is still an audio jack like the DualShock 4. So it's cool. It's cool for people that, maybe just don't feel like getting a headset, maybe just want to say something real quick or whatever. But I'm just envisioning just all the Call of Duty lobbies and just dudes just being just don't give a damn, just buzzing buzzing on a mic. It's like, how does that even happen if you don't even have a headset connected? Just all this random new, probably just Pandora's box of just annoying stuff that I guess gonna have to get through either way. Thank God for mute all. That's all I gotta say for that. Don't use it all the time. I selectively mute if I can, depending. Like if somebody's just being very, just, dude, your mic is just buzzing and annoying, and cool though. I mean, the touchpad looks to be back too. Hopefully this generation it will get some more utilization. I guess that'll be yet to be seen until we actually see it in action. So that at least confirms definitely some straight up genuine compatibility with PS4. So at least most of the functions, I think motion. I'm not sure if motion detection is still in. I think it is, since it basically is essentially the same technology with the light bar and stuff. I would assume so. Could be wrong. Probably the other biggest feature that they were toting is a haptic feedback. So not like rumble feedback or whatever, but haptic, which is more akin to smartphones, at least in terms of our frame of reference from past technologies. But with haptic feedback, it seems like it's going to be more accurate, or I guess HD, kind of akin to like the Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons, where it has the HD rumble, which is probably the best, I guess, indication of what haptic feedback is going to be like. So basically, I know they mentioned some examples, like if you're driving on a dirt road with rocks and stuff, you'll be able to feel that more accurately than you would like in a standard, I guess, PS4 controller, where you just get the rhythmic rumble. But apparently this is touted to be more accurate, that. You got USB-C, so that whole age of USB-C is coming. I'm not really used to. I mean, most of the stuff now I'm kind of accustomed to micro USB, but I mean, just being able to plug in a micro USB anyway without having to flip it and figure it out does sound like a dream. So that is good. What was another aspect? Oh yeah, the create button. So basically, the share button has now been replaced with what they're calling the create button. Whatever that means, I don't know. But obviously, it seems like it'll still be roughly in the same realm of being able to share content like screenshots and video clips. But at least they're insinuating it seems like it's going to be much deeper than that. That maybe it's something deeply ingrained in the operating system of the PS5 or something like that. I'm assuming that, I don't know, you can maybe create videos on the fly and upload it to YouTube directly or something. I don't know. Create. That could imply a lot of stuff, but I don't know. I feel like they're making that. Maybe it's just maybe it could just be straight up terminology. Maybe just share is not as I don't know, universal as create. But I mean, till they actually reveal the console and show the ins and outs of it, That'll be yet to be revealed. All in all, I do like the form factor at least. Just the design and the color scheme is just my biggest gripe with it. But who knows? After some time, I feel like with a lot of the generations and changes and designs and stuff, it always felt like that. It's like initially, a lot of us would be like, ugh, this is ugly. And then, like, after some time, having it in your hands and kind of feeling it overall, like, oh, that's pretty cool. So, who knows? Maybe it looks better in person. Kind of like, I guess maybe the PS5 controller isn't the most photogenic of the bunch. So, all in all, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. It definitely indicates that what the PS5 may be looks like in terms of the color scheme. So maybe it might have the same. I mean, as previous consoles were any indication, it might give us a hint as to what the console will look like. Hopefully, it's better than controller. Yeah, white, black, and blue. I mean, I do like blue, but white and black though, and at least white being the dominant color. I don't know. We'll have to see, I guess. Really hope we get some other color schemes at launch, but it looks good though, but it doesn't. It looks good, but it doesn't at the same time. You know what I mean. Moving on. Boy, just people just ruining everything for everybody. So I believe we talked about the RE8 rumors before, but it looks like some more information did come out. So I guess debunking some of those, some of that terminology Dust Golem was using, the previous leaker leaker of some of the RE8 information. I guess he didn't confirm it yet, but pretty much everybody was at that point that it has to be, and more than likely is. But a big heap of news did get leaked, at least regarding the game. So apparently, some of the play testers with the game, in terms of the I believe there's a beta for the next upcoming game that some select Resident Evil ambassadors, which is basically Resident Evil's exclusive program of fans of Resident Evil, got to participate in. And in turn with that, boy, just they was like, you know what? Well, let's just leak everything. So that's apparently what happened. So I believe the main source was Rely on Horror that got the tip that basically Resident Evil 8 is going to be that title in 2021. So let's see. So yeah, that kind of Dust Golem did confirm the kind of suspicion that this technically was in the same vein as Resident Evil 3 in terms of it originally started off as a spin-off to Resident Evil due to the time concerns that it was going to take very long to develop the next, I guess, actual, genuine, new iteration of Resident Evil, if we're, I guess, using technical terms here, but is now gonna be a mainline game in the series. So it was formerly Revelations 3, but now it's actually gonna be mainline RE8. And then I guess RE9 is the one that's gonna be taking longer than expected, or I think maybe they just don't want to have too long of a span between titles. So that basically is confirmed. Makes sense. But yeah, I know they did confirm it's going to be first person, which is unfortunate, but oh well. What else? Yeah, that this was in development, I think, since 2016 or a long time. Yeah, they did want a huge gap between RE7 and RE8. So the title that originally was going to be RE8 got pushed to the side for the time being. And then, yeah, from internal testing and such, it was so positive on Revelations 3, they decided to change it and make it a mainline game. That's what it was. Okay. It's all coming together. So Revelations 3 was received a lot better by testers internally than they expected. So the game's been given an additional year in the oven to convert itself to RE8. So the ambassador leaks about werewolves and Ethan in a snowy village were 100% true, but it is outdated info. So the game's been going through some changes, make it more like a mainline title. Big changes to the story, characters, etc. So specifically, what you've heard may not be fully true in the final, but a number of elements remain. So he did say and confirm that it is a cross-gen game. Interesting stuff. Okay. And it's supposedly going to be revealed in the next few months. Obviously, it was probably going to be planned for E3, but since that's fell underwater, it might be probably around maybe the same time, if not earlier. Well, especially now since all the rumors are seeping out. But I guess he did finally confirm what the series departure term meant. That in the story enemies and the like, hallucinations, occultism, insanity, and not being able to trust others are the huge thematics of the game. I mean, that totally wasn't what I was expecting. I thought he meant like straight up gameplay or game genre, but okay, sure. And then I think there were some more details in a couple other ones. So yeah, so I think that was right after our last episode, but now it was like a lot of more developments during this previous week, I want to say. So now they revealed that the title is going to be Resident Evil Village, and with the same iconography as Resident Evil 7, where they managed to deliberately put the Roman numeral 7 in here. They have it in the same way as for Village, which is the Roman numeral for 9 in the Village font. Basically similar to Resident Evil, but this is a mock-up display of it. But yeah, I guess weird Village, Resident Evil Village. I mean, it's a resident place, but I don't know. I'm not sure about that. But it was a pretty interesting aspect about how this leak came to be that I found pretty fascinating, at least specifically with how Capcom went about it. It felt like, well, let me divulge it first. So apparently they revealed 2 separate demos to 2 groups of the ambassadors, I guess. So I guess there was one where, let's see, I think it was one. Well, I think overall both the demos had Chris being the integral part in it, but I think there was a couple of differences in the demo. So there was one where Mia had a baby with Ethan Winters, the character from 7. But I think in the other demo, I think she was pregnant and didn't actually have the baby. So at least it's kind of ingenious when you think about it. They basically kind of had it set that way so they could kind of find out who actually leaked the information, which is pretty ingenious actually. So it's kind of like a fail safe, so they could actually narrow down who actually leaked the information, which is pretty cool. I have to give them credit for that. That's pretty dope. That's some suspense movie type stuff. What a twist. Yeah, man, I got to give them credit for that. That's pretty smart. That is smart. They actually had 2 slightly different demos where they could really weed out who actually leaked the information by. Yeah, wow, that's pretty cool. You got to give Capcom credit for that. Because at the same time, it does kind of suck because it felt like, well, not necessarily. It was kind of like a fail safe because it's like obviously you're having testers test out the game that are fans of the game and series in general, and then have them freaking, yeah, just like, hey, you guys might get excited, and if you leak it, well, we know how to get you, and we will find you. and we will kill you. Oh wow, that is crazy. So apparently, I mean, potential spoilers for the game. It's even though it's kind of still up in the air if this is going to be initiated or going through, but I think the one biggest part was that they actually, thankfully, it seems like, redesigned Chris Redfield's character. So now he actually looks more akin to what he looked like in, 5 and 6, instead of this weird, like, I don't even know if you're actually Chris type of person in Resident Evil 7. So that seems like a pretty cool, very welcome aspect if true. Um and then boy, apparently in the scene Chris came and basically shot up one of the members in after breaking in, supposedly. So it seems like they're taking this angle of Chris going deep cover, and potentially, may have went to the dark side. Who knows? Who knows? So very interesting stuff, and they did confirm the kind of werewolf-like people. So apparently they are gonna look like that, but they're not necessarily werewolves, but they're somewhat very close to it or something like that. So it is yeah, it is very valid. And on top of that, Dust Golem, he pretty much confirmed it that it is gonna be real. So boy, yeah, I mean, I think one aspect, according to Rely on Horror, that it is, well, no, I think that kind of goes back to the segmented demos or segmented test environments that I guess apparently they had a demo that had a couple other gameplay aspects different to the other demo that was exposed to the different folks. So I think one was like some of the item management. It seems like the item management for Resident Evil 4 was in one of the demos, but then in the other, it was actually the RE7, or I guess even up to RE3 Remake kind of design for the other one. So, man, that is pretty dope. That's pretty smart, though, as well, that like they kind of have a fail safe where they can kind of root out, like, okay, all right, this group must have leaked it, and then the other group must have leaked it. But I guess in this case, both did kind of. So it's like, well, all right. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, and going back, yeah, Mia Winters being pregnant, and then the other one having a child already being born. So, yeah, Ethan being the lead protagonist. Um, eh, yeah, we'll see how they handle Ethan when he comes. If he's, I think that was a kind of up in the air too. That if he's actually still gonna be the main character, or they might actually change him. So essentially, a lot of this is still up in the air, or if even it is actually confirmed, even though I guess somewhat it's halfway confirmed at this point. What else? Oh yeah, that basically I guess they're taking a lot of inspiration from Resident Evil 3.5, which is basically um of the various kind of iterations of Resident Evil 4 before it came to be the Resident Evil 4 that we know today. Um it was basically going akin to, or at least the Resident Evil 3.5 they're talking about was Resident Evil 4 with Leon, where he's in this castle where it had more of a paranormal vibe to it, and then you had the Hook Man, I believe they called him, and then just a lot of very hallucinations and supernatural elements, akin to kind of the more biological, scientific angle that the current mainline Resident Evil games have. So apparently they're going to be more basically supernatural. Take that, going that route now with this one, which I guess kind of goes back to the drastic change or whatever. Which that sounds fine to me if that's the case. I mean, at this point, I don't. As long as the essential, I guess, gameplay staples stay the same, I'd be okay with it, I think. Would like to see zombies if that was a thing still to some extent, but doesn't seem like that might be. I guess they mention a stalker type enemy that resembles a witch that apparently haunts Ethan in the demo. Then a gorilla like monster man with chains and a staff. The witch cannot be killed and melts down into bugs when shot. She apparently has a distinctive laugh that lets you know when she's in the air. Some versions of the demo appear to have you escape to a castle, while others have you meet up with a group in a normal human villagers, talk your way in a refuge hideout from the monsters. Interesting. Wow. That's pretty fascinating. I don't just the whole dynamic that they deliberately had two demos, which I guess maybe it wasn't intentionally meant for a fail safe in the event that they were leaked before they revealed it, but it's, I guess, maybe unintentionally is, which is cool either way. So really interesting stuff. I mean, if all this is true, and this is in first person, yeah, I mean, I just the back in my head really will want this to be, traditional third person Resident Evil, at least with the recent ones that we're getting now. But I mean, trying to take off of Resident Evil 4 is pretty a good place to kind of try to take inspiration from, if anything. So I am all down for that if this is true. So again, I mean, grain of salt, because either this could have been the case and they change it overall, or this just is fake, or not true. But I mean, a lot of it is leaning towards being valid, which I could see as well. So interesting stuff, though. Interesting stuff. Fascinating. Really, really fascinates me. Just the development process and just how all these dynamics play out. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just a nerd for this stuff, obviously. Sticking with Resident Evil news, let's talk about this dumbness. Just that's all I have. I just have to call it what it is, because it is. So with the previous gates we had before, which at least starting out, I forgot all of them. At least the recent one was Puddlegate, where it seemed like it was started as serious, but then just started getting like, okay, this is dumb, this is dumb, this is super dumb, where it just basically just took the whole meaning out of Gate, where it was for legitimate issues. But come on, man, we're in a pandemic right now. So sticking in line with Puddlegate, and for those that don't know, Puddlegate was basically this whole kerfuffle in terms of specifically Spider-Man for the PS4, that basically the demo, or E3 demo, I believe, totally was different from the main game. Kind of like Watch Dogs, where the graphical quality was deemed worse, but this is to a way lesser, irrelevant extent that it just seemed like just a simple design choice and not necessarily intentional like change. But basically, I guess the puddle didn't look as detailed as it did in the demo in the main game, or actual game that came out. People had a fit. Everybody was just throwing chairs. Pitchforks were raised. Torches were lit. It was just horrible. It was it was horrible. People got killed. No, I'm playing. I'm playing, but just dumb. And people just started rallying and just, oh yeah, that puddle looks ugly too. Ah man, forget Spider-Man. This game is horrible. Just come on. That just makes me cringe with just irritation, disappointment, and annoyance all in one. But thinking our our nation couldn't top that. Well, no, you would be wrong, sir or ma'am. Actually, they did. So now, with RE3 being released, and specifically the pre-order costume, which basically is akin to Jill Valentine's original costume in the original RE3. They did release it, and people yet again are raising their pitchforks, lighting their torches, killing people. No, they're not killing people. Sorry. Over Jill's skirt actually being a lie. Actually is not a skirt, but skirts. Skirts. Not a skirt, but actually skirts. For those that may not know, possibly, skirts are basically, they give you the illusion of a skirt, but actually there's shorts under it. So basically from the outside, or like somebody just looking, I guess if you're looking at a woman's crotch or whatever, hey, you do you, I guess, just not creepy or whatever at all. Or yeah, but apparently, it looks like a skirt if you look at it, how you would, but the only way you would see that it is not a skirt is if you look up the skirt, which apparently that's why how people came to this conclusion that wait a minute, no, I can't see up Jill's skirt, I can't see her panties. No, all right, those are skirts. I am offended. Okay, I wanted to see Jill's panties and I cannot, because these are a lie. These are skirts and not a skirt. I am angry. That's what I'm assuming people are. I can't even, I'm just overwhelmed with just embarrassment and disappointment. Embarrassment and disappointment with our whole subculture of gamers as a whole, that we are having a tirade, annoyance, raising our pitchforks, lighting our torches, killing people over a damn change, subtle change that can only be seen if you're trying to do something you shouldn't really be doing, aka being lewd, pervert, creep in general. It's like, can we do better as gamers? Can we not stick to that particular stereotype of just being weird and creepy? To some credit, women are actually having issues with it too, but come on now. Really, essentially it looks very close to her original design, but can we find something more constructive to have an argument over, and not Jill having skirts instead of a skirt in a remake of a game? Come on now. Come on, gamers. Let's do better in that aspect. Everything else we could just, but Jesus. Skirtgate. Skirtgate. I'm really I'm not even mad, I'm just disappointed. It's like the parents say, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. Just disappointed. You guys are fighting over this. You guys are fighting because you can't look up a in-game character woman's skirt. Is that what we're putting all our energy into right now? I know we're in a pandemic, and that's maybe causes some animosity or just feelings of some way. Or hey, I don't know. You may just be feeling some type of emotion where you can't get that out, I guess. That I guess, hey, Oh man, I was planning to just feel it with Jill, but now I can't because she got some damn squirts on. I hate life. I'll never understand it, but no, just no. It's not a valid argument. Okay, stop it. Skirtgate, stop it. Leave it alone. Let it be. Let the designers reimagine the character how they see fit, which I'll get into a little bit later with RE3 Remake as a whole, but that's not the discussion for now. Gamers, just stop it. Skirtgate, no. Leave it alone. Okay? I'm sorry. That just rubbed me the wrong way. Of immense disappointment, embarrassment, of being associated with people that let me move on. I can't. I will, boy. In better news, Streets of Rage 4, apparently that release date leaked on April 23rd, 2020, but apparently the date is wrong, that they actually are thinking of another date, or they're the keyword they're saying is shipping soon, quote unquote. But alongside that, they released this dope ass fucking trailer, which basically revealed that alongside the original cast of Streets of Rage 4, they're also going to have this retro mode, which basically adds pretty much all of the characters that you could play from Streets of Rage 1 through 3. You could play the original model in the game as well, alongside the soundtracks of Streets of Rage 1 and 2. It's like, don't do that to me, all right, Seika? .emu? It's so good. I'm sorry. So, I was already on board, but I'm even more on board with all this, even this additional news. So it feels like it's gonna be like a Streets of Rage remake to an extent, where they're gonna add like the original characters to play with, and that actually is gonna get me itching to play Streets of Rage remake now. But yeah. So Streets of Rage 4 is coming pretty close, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I'm here all for it. All for it. Cannot wait. Bring beat 'em ups back. This is the first step or second step. I know there's a couple other beat 'em ups that came out recently. River City Girls. There was some other one that I cannot remember. Beat 'em up. Recent beat 'em up. Darn it. The Double Dragon and River City Ransom bundle. It did have some games that were exclusive to Japan, though. So, there's another one on my head, but I cannot remember it. But yeah. Moving on to some very this is just the most random. Yeah, random is probably the best way to describe it. Random, obscure news, or at least initial news at first. So apparently, this infamous series game, Cooking Mama, was coming out on the Switch. But there was some weirdness with it. Apparently, like when it was for its planned release date, it came out on the eShop, but then shortly after it got removed. But then people were like, "Here's like what the hell?" And then on top of that, I think physical copies were very obscure and very like on the DL. Kind of remind me a lot of Devil's Third, where basically they've just left that game to die, like no promotion, nothing. Even though it was published by Nintendo, I think, but I guess the game was just horrible, and they just wanted to just bury it and not worry about it. But I love that game, specifically the multiplayer. Single player, I mean, I didn't really feel any other way. It was fine. It was entertaining at least. Maybe not the best game ever, but boy, that damn multiplayer was excellent. I'm just gonna I had to say that. Um but yeah, for Cooking Mama, why did it? So the biggest, I guess, aspect of it was that it was some suspicion rumors that apparently the game was using your Switch to data mine, for Bitcoin and stuff like that. But apparently, afterward, it did get debunked. But that's just fascinating because I guess it isn't made by the original developer of the game. It was made by somebody else, and that added a little bit more, I guess, to the suspicion of it all. But yeah, that's just pretty weird and interesting at the same time. I guess basically the code that they were going to use for Cooking Mama, I think specifically for multiplayer, um, was similar code to data mining. I want to say, or that could have been exploited for data mining, but they didn't go through with it in general. So yeah, I guess the PS4 version is even weirder. Yeah, because it was just very vague and under wraps, which did add to just more suspicion of it. Trying to find what they say specifically. First playable. Yeah, so playable productions is the developer of the game, but that got changed to I think Planet, who I guess were the current ones. Yeah, it's very just weird and obscure. But I guess that's specifically a physical version in terms of printing the actual game out. And then they deleted posts or older posts about the game. That is so weird. Yeah, blockchain technology, which was specifically um, potentially could have been exploited for Bitcoining and using everybody switch to unintentionally Bitcoin stuff or add to the Bitcoin or however Bitcoin works. I know it works in some extent of putting a lot of effort and pushing your PC to eventually find a coin or Bitcoin after basically brute forcing the system to some loose extent. I obviously don't know much about it, but that's somewhat of the gist. So yeah, very so it's very it was released shortly, digitally and physically, and they're trying to pretend it never happened. Interesting. I guess maybe the quality of the game, kind of like I guess it actually is kind of like Devil's Third, whereas like just the quality of the game is in question, and maybe they just try to bury it on the rug as much as possible, which basically was the same case with Devil's Third. Didn't bring, didn't have many physical copies, um, and yeah, no promotion of the game at all, and then they just dropped it and didn't say anything about it, or basically the redheaded stepchild that they pretend is not there. So interesting stuff. I guess just it just maybe just a weird weird game that just is not good. But I hear some people actually do like it to some extent. So what it's worth. I just found that interesting either way. Well, potentially your Switch being used to mine mine for Bitcoin is not the best. It's pretty concerning for most, I'd say. But yeah, hey, if you got that physical copy of Cooking Mama, boy, that might be collectible down the road. Just saying. So I think that covers all the news for this week. At least that stood out to me. Let's get into some of those games though. Some of the games I've been playing. Particularly Modern Warfare, of course. Boy, I was putting in that time because the season 2 was ending after or ending this week, so I was like super close. I think I was on a battle pass tier 93 ish. I was like, you know what? Let me put that time in. They got double tier progression on top of that. I was like, oh, double XP and double weapon XP. I'm like, oh, oh, okay, all right. Well, I guess I got to now. So that's basically what I did alongside Resident Evil 3, as well. So with Resident Evil 3, boy, yeah, as soon as that came out, and then that was a whole nother thing. I want to say I talked briefly on the previous episodes at some point, I want to say, but basically I did pre-order the game at GameStop, but obviously with the current situation going on, kind of SOL because can't go to any of the stores now. But basically ended up getting a Steam version, which I think I was gonna get either way technically, but got the Steam version, played pretty much, that was my primary version I was playing anyway now, and boy, beat it like eight or nine times, I say. And boy, I was had a very like roller coaster, like, I guess, sense of emotions, feelings with the game, I guess initially. So I'll at least try to think it out. So initially, played it through, beat it, and then I was like, boy, that was pretty damn short. And they cut a lot of stuff as well, which I kind of ranted about on Twitter. Yeah, just overall, initially, they cut so much stuff out. And you could tell in terms of like, man, just them getting this out, just right shortly a year after RE2 remake. And yeah, it kind of does show, because it's like, apparently it was developed at the same time as Resident Evil 2, which is, I guess on top of that, is kind of concerning. And concerning because like they technically had way more time than Resident Evil 2. But I guess maybe there were potentially, maybe those rumors were true, where that potentially it was going to be both RE2 and RE3 in one game, maybe, or some type of deal like that, even though now after RE3 came out that there's going to be a kind of duplicate collection, which they did make now. If you didn't get RE2 before, they have I forgot they called it the Raccoon City collection or something like that. So essentially they did do that, but boy, yeah, they just cut the hell out of this game, at least from the specifically, and let me preface that, specifically compared to the original material, source material, which is the original game. They cut so much out of that, man. They cut the freaking Gravedigger boss, which is basically the only other boss outside of fighting Nemesis consistently throughout the game. They cut out the whole clock tower level. What else? They cut out something else too. They cut out the Raccoon City Zoo. They just cut but then on top of that, it just it didn't. I'm not sure how to describe it, but it just didn't seem to make sense as to why they cut it out. It didn't seem like it was a decision to make the game flow better or anything like that, which I guess maybe it was to some extent, but it just, and then even on top of that, the biggest probably one of my bigger gripes with the game is that specifically they decided not to go with this live selection decision system, which is probably personally, I think the biggest highlights of the original RE3 that kind of made it stand out and compensate for not having two protagonists to play within the game. So, just having uh, Jill's campaign specifically, just playing through that, and then, playing it on multiple playthroughs. There was that alongside a lot of the random elements in terms of like random puzzles, where they wouldn't, be the same every time, which added to the replayability of the game, which in this case is straight cut, just cut completely, which is unfortunate. It's very unfortunate, and that it did leave me very like disappointed overall after I initially played it the first time. So, I after that I was like, you know what, I'm done. So I went back to Modern Warfare, at least specifically after that, and then did what I need to for Modern Warfare, and then came back after thinking about it a little bit. Yeah, sitting on it overall, and then I was like, okay, let me try playing a little bit more. I was hearing some stuff about there's actually another mode that's hidden or you need to unlock that actually makes the game much better in terms of playing and whatnot, which it did. It did after doing it. So I guess spoilers if you're sensitive to that specifically, but there's like 5 modes. There was assisted, which is easy, normal, hardcore, nightmare, and inferno. Um, so basically, you have to beat hardcore first in order to unlock nightmare. You have to beat nightmare in order to unlock inferno. Or no, I think no, yeah, you have to beat nightmare to unlock inferno. I thought they unlocked both of them after you do a hardcore, but they don't. Um, but yeah, after playing nightmare, it felt better. Um, and I guess just playing it more, it did flow good. The pacing was very fast paced, which it was a change to a Resident Evil game that I wasn't used to. But after playing it a bit, I'm like, yeah, I do like it, but I don't know. I'm very conflicted about it. So it's hard to really narrow down even now that I'm still thinking about it after the fact. But it's yeah, it's hard to describe. It's like, yeah, I think in general it's just like my biggest gripe is that they cut so much from the original material. And it's one thing where they basically revised the cable car aspect of the original one and changed it, like, okay, it's the subway now. Sure, fine, cool, that works. But it just, other stuff they took the liberty of reinventing, basically just didn't really agree with, I guess. But I guess the best way to describe it is if you don't have any frame of reference for the original game, I think you'll enjoy this way more than if you did have a frame of reference for the original game. And on top of that, if you try to think of this game as a reimagining than a remake, I think that also helps as well, because they just changed like too much for it to feel like a remake, as well as cut. They left out so much, and dude did a lot of drastic changes to the story, and mainly the story overall, and kind of taking a lot of inspiration from the original material, but not necessarily remaking it in a sense of RE2 remake, which essentially kept a lot of the main elements of the game intact, but deviating and improving on stuff that made sense. But and this, for Resident Evil 3 remake, it just they butchered a lot of it. But I mean, for what's there is good, and then yeah. Then my other biggest gripe really is Nemesis, which is obviously the biggest component of this game, or Resident Evil 3, the original. he he is just not as scary in this one, and then he is just very much devalued in this one compared to the other one, the original. He doesn't feel as persistent of a threat as he was in the original. In this one, he's very. After you play the game a few times, you know where he's expected to come, and he doesn't have that cool illusion of randomness that like Mr. X had in RE2, where he essentially had his own kind of AI where he can technically roam the whole map, and you could kind of have a frame of reference or expectation of where he would kind of go, but he could potentially go off the ramp and like go to a totally different route and just straight kill your whole plans of wherever you're trying to go. But in this one, it's just he's way more scripted than he was in the original, which is just unfortunate. I will give credit though that the original is more is the scripted moments are pretty cool. I can definitely give credit there, but I just would have liked more inclusion of him in terms of his random appearances and kind of adding to more of his fear and kind of just overall kind of just fear, really. Because, yeah, him knowing he will appear at certain moments and then go away just kind of takes away from his fear and like the element of him being a bigger threat than Mr. X. Because I actually feel like Mr. X was more threatening and scary than Nemesis in this one, because you don't know where he's gonna come or where he can go. But in this one, there are particular points where he can actually he's definitely guaranteed to not come. Where it's like, well, all right, I'm good now. I can breathe now for sure. But Mr. X is like, oh, okay, I know he's just walking around in the damn fucking footsteps and stuff like that. But he's fun. He's fun to mess with, but scary, not really. Not really in this one, which is unfortunate because, man, at least how they were hyping him up to be, he was going to be like a straight up random, just Mr. X 20 times over, that he was going to be a problem. But yeah, he is just not pretty damn disappointing, man. Super damn disappointing. But all in all, I mean, I liked it for what it is, but directly comparing it to original RE3, it is very pretty disappointing. Pretty disappointing. But I did thoroughly enjoy the game. I will say that. I can't, not to detract from RE3, I do understand the judgment and review scores and stuff like that of it being, very, very mixed, which is understandable because, man, when you compare it to original material, it's very, very poor. So, all in all, I had a good time with it. It was a good time. It was a good time. The shop was cool. Finding all the items and stuff like that was pretty dope. But yeah. Also, alongside with that, was the add-on. Obviously, to compensate for the short time or the short play time for this game, which is RE Resistance, which is yeah. It's like at first I thought I was gonna play it even more than I was thinking, but yeah, I don't know, man. It's not Outbreak. It's really not Outbreak, But it's fine. It was fun to play as the mastermind, which is basically and I guess let me backpedal. So RE Resistance is basically a asymmetrical multiplayer game, kind of like Evolve, Dead by Daylight, where it's like 4v1, where it's four online players or survivors against the mastermind, which basically can control and spawn items and enemies on the map. So basically, it's kind of that cool dynamic with the Resident Evil vibe to it. But yeah, I don't know. It's something about it that just doesn't grab me like I wanted it to. given I only played like maybe 2 3 matches. Of course, I played like the few betas that came out as well, but I think just deep down inside, it's like this is not Resident Evil Outbreak that I want. But yeah, it's cool though. I think if you play with people, it'll probably be fun. But on its own, I don't know. I'm glad it probably was the best choice for them to bundle it in with RE3 because I don't think people would get it otherwise. But I'd say it is better than like Umbrella Corps and Operation Raccoon City, all the horrible other Resident Evil games before it. But it's fine. Maybe I'll give it another chance, some more playtime. But at least initially, so far, very very meh, very meh. That's at least my kind of feelings about it so far. Um, while I was installing the update for Modern Warfare, I was like, let me get back to Gears 5 because it's been a minute. Um, I felt very lukewarm with Gears 5. At least initially after it came out, the campaign was pretty good, but something about the multiplayer, at least compared to Gears 4, which I played the hell out of, didn't really stick with me like I wanted it to. I'm not sure if it was with the kind of diverse split between the arcade mode and the standard multiplayer, where they kind of made arcade mode more appealing to the more casual like audience in terms of people that aren't really in a admittedly for Gears like shotgun, boom shot, maybe torque bow, shotgun. So yeah, I don't know. It's like, I don't know, the game didn't feel good compared to Gears 4. I don't know. It just felt like something was kind of off. Or I think mainly it was the map selection, which I think I didn't really like as much as Gears 4, which I guess admittedly took a lot from the previous Gears games. So it's kind of like, I guess that's really indicative of if I really like the Gears, if it had all the old maps that, you kind of had some nostalgia and familiarity with that. So I don't know. I did like the new mode that they added. I think it's called Gridiron. Remind me a lot of Griffball from Halo 3, where it's basically you have to get objective and take it to their home turf or your home turf. Well, it's kind of like, when you think about it, it's kind of like the inverse of Capture the Flag, where basically you get a flag at a central point on the map and then take it to their end, but you have to stay there for like, I want to say 15 minutes, or 15 seconds, 15 seconds, I believe. And then you technically win the map that way, or you can kill everybody on their team, since it's a one life, one round type deal too. So it was cool. I don't know if I'll still play that mode specifically, but I am kind of encouraged to play, just play Gears 5 in general now more, because it's the most like super surface related reason. But being able to power bomb now, I guess this promotion with Game Pass, or playing it on Game Pass, if you get it during this time, you can use a execution move where you basically do a power bomb and their head blows off. And I'm like, oh, all right. I did it a few times. I'm like, okay, all right, I might I might like Gears 5 again now. So that was fun. That was pretty fun. But yeah, overall, I'm not sure. I think it's the map selection. I'm just not really really pleased with Gears 5. They don't really, I guess, resonate with me like the other games, but we'll see. With further operations and updates, that might change, I'm assuming. So all in all, of course, the big elephant in the room is Final Fantasy 7, which is close. It's almost there. I'm ready for it though. I want it. I want it. Outside of that, pretty much it. So let's see. I think that will do it for this episode of Switches Sites. If you have any questions you'd like to submit to the show, feel free to submit them at aswitchtv@gmail.com. What else? I do have, I want to say I talked about this before, but I am, now that I have more time to do stuff, I am uploading some of my videos I never actually got around to uploading that I recorded way back. So keep a lookout on that, specifically Code Veronica. What else? Trying to remember, it was something else I wanted to housekeep that I cannot remember. I think that's it, really. Oh yeah, if you're listening to this show on various podcasting platforms, feel free to rate, like, hate, if you can do that on your platform. I don't know. You can. I think there's a hate button you can put there that works. Any feedback is appreciated, positive or negative. Yeah, I think that'll do it. Also, of course, be safe, wash your hands, social distance. Don't touch people if they don't want to be touched. Don't. All right, just don't. Okay, you heard me, right? Okay. Yeah, guys. Final Fantasy VII. It's coming. Just saying. Till next time, guys. Get your game on.